What is going on, everybody? This is my daily updates channel where I show you how I'm building a business that is going to make $500,000 a month. We're currently at $300K a month, so not exactly impossible to hit. And I structure these videos the same way every day with some YouTube comment Q&A, building and strategizing in public before finally showing you guys my growth stats across YouTube, Instagram, and products. This is my main channel over here. The sub growth has been pretty wild, and this is the daily updates channel. So I'm just going to sort by newest. My goal today is to bang this video out in 18 minutes, so I have 2 minutes to jump on a podcast, kind of prep my materials and stuff. So why don't we try and answer at least 10 questions? Code with Robbie says, wondering how your IG videos are being edited. Is it yourself or are you outsourcing an editor? And if you are, can you explain how you found them? Yeah, I have an editor that I work with for the Instagram, and I found them by making an offhand comment about some anime that I was watching in one of my YouTube videos. He then reached out to me suggesting that he could help me grow my page, and that he loves anime, and that he currently runs some big anime thing. It was a super custom, like 2-page email basically about just how much value he think he could provide. And I took him up on it because I just love candor. I love people that kind of put their balls on the table and do really good outreach. As somebody that's done a lot of that myself, I just inherently respect it. So yeah, I mean, we've had a great relationship. Guy's totally cracked, and he's been helping me out a lot on Instagram. Nick, says Andrea, thanks for your value. Quick question. I pitch SMEs primarily by offering lead packages with cold email or LinkedIn with the aim of converting clients to a retainer by acting as an in-house AI GTM partner. SME stands for small to mid-sized enterprise. AI GTM just means using AI to help people go to market, just for anybody that doesn't know. How do I grow the business that I work with? Should I focus on a specific vertical? What mindset should I adopt to deliver results? Thank you for everything. Probably the simplest mindset that you can adopt to deliver results is the race mindset. It is where you focus all of your time and energy not on building complex back-end systems that optimize some bullshit process like most AI engineers will do, but focusing entirely on, first of all, being able to actually write on a board. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Systems that help you reach more clients, systems that help you acquire interest from those clients, systems that help you convert those clients, and systems that help you expand those clients. So this is unfortunately kind of slanted, but anyway, systems that help you reach are things that put you in front of customers. These are systems that are going to, improve the number of total eyeballs that go on your product or service. Systems like cold email systems that essentially allow you to blast a message out to hundreds of thousands of people at a marginal cost. Systems that create creative or copy for ads, because obviously with ads, it's the same sort of thing. You pay money and then in exchange have thousands of eyeballs on your products. That's what a CPM or cost per mil is. These are just systems that help you get in front of people, not necessarily make them want to buy your stuff, just get in front of them. Acquisition is where you convert the eyeballs and the sort of consideration to interest, which is where people now don't just see your stuff, but they're like, hey, I actually kind of want to work with these guys, or, there may be an opportunity where I work with them. What I mean by that is, reach is about like getting your people essentially to look at your product and go, oh, okay, this is one step past that. They both look at your product and then they go like, okay, let's actually sign up, let's say for an onboarding call or a sales call or something like that. This is supposed to be a sales call or something like that. So what I mean by this is systems that maximize the probability that if somebody, let's say, clicks on an ad, okay, you actually convert them to a meeting. That is a speed to lead system. That's a system in cold email, let's say, that allows you to follow up with them consistently, to turn a piece of interest into a meeting. That's, systems that, optimize your conversion rate on meetings by constantly looking at your funnel and then evaluating it and generating improvements, split test systems and so on. After that, we kind of got to go one step further. So it's not enough just to, have them see the product, have them like it enough to want to book a meeting, but now you actually need to close them. And so there's a bunch of systems on the closing end that can help you, like proposal generators, systems that, again, follow up with leads that have looked at your proposal, automated follow-ups for proposals and for, quotes and estimates and stuff like that. And then finally, there's expansion, which is almost like after you've done this whole pipeline and now you have people that, you work with. It's like, how do I squeeze the most money out of them? And so typically you'll do that by offering some sort of follow-up loop where not only do you get them to work with you, but then you just like continuously repitch them on systems over time, you increase the lifetime value of your prospects. So if you just spend 99.9% of your time on those 4 systems, enumerate systems that can help every customer you work with on all 4 of these fronts, whatever your niche is, you'll make far more money than focusing on, I don't know, like systems that save money, bookkeeping systems, back-end automation systems and stuff. Nick, I'm having trouble understanding a speed-to-lead texting implementation, thanks Alvin, in the US. From what I understand, we can't just text back a missed caller via API. We must create a campaign, and the most important piece of a campaign is consent. I don't believe missing a call gives me consent to text the caller via API. So do speed-to-lead texting implementations for missed calls even exist? Yeah, for sure. You can for sure text them. You can for sure text them. I mean, like, you know, if you're blasting out a bunch of text to people whose calls you missed, and, you know, you're sending like 80 or 100 or 200 a day per phone number, eventually you're going to be screwed. But yeah, you can actually you can text people 100%. And, you know, people say like via API, but there are a variety of mechanisms to do this in an automated or semi-automated way, you know, without necessarily having to use an API, which is another thing. And you're saying you must create a campaign. It depends on like what software platform you're using. But I mean, like missed callbacks are basically. So missed callback, for instance, probably the simplest and easiest way to start with missed callbacks are something like Go High Level. As you see over here, they literally have like a one-click missed call text back feature where every time, you know, you miss a call, you'll have an SMS notification, even if the caller tries multiple times within a brief time frame. It's pretty cool. Let me see if they have any writing on exactly what you're talking about. Default numbers. Can you do after hours calls? Yeah, okay. No, I don't even think they mention that here. It's not a big deal. You basically just have, hi there. This is Haplin's over at Haplin's Marketing. Sorry you missed your call. Text us here and we'll be happy to help. You know, you can route them to like a WhatsApp. You could do a lot of things. Anyway, alternatively, in your ad or, you know, whatever, when people fill out the form, okay, assuming you're now talking outbound missed call text backs, like where they miss your call and then you text them, literally just have a section on your thing. Like if you wanted to be totally compliant, you would need a section on your ad or whatever not actual ad, but like your landing page for the offer that says like, you know, I don't know, like, you know, by submitting your blah, 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 you consent to text messages and whatnot. That's just sort of how it works. There's specific wording and you should nail that wording, but just look up like A2P texting wording or something like that. And then you get something like this. Just saw your request come in, have a minute to chat so I make sure I understand what you need. Sarah Beth, AAA service. Sure, call me at 11, will do. Thanks for shopping at blah, blah, blah. Your order has been processed. So check the status, your delivery reply status for an update status. I mean, like these are all just examples of a bunch of different ways you could do this. Obviously, don't do the discount thing unless you're selling a service. Somebody fills out the form, you then have it, you can actually text them back. You know, people are basically submitting consent here, that they consent to receive text messages from business regarding whatever the hell it is, by even filling out your offer in the first place. So yeah, you're totally good. Okay, anyway, hopefully that makes sense. WVID is, as always, my daily morning business learning. Thank you. DatePal says, better to use Kimi K3 as orchestrator, Grok 4.5 as executor. Cheapest way, since Kimi may be Fable level intelligence. It does rack up more costs and has 15 tokens a sec, so very slow. Yeah, I'd agree. Rahibul says, if you had to start your AI journey from scratch today, what skill would you focus on first? What roadmap would you follow to go from 0 to 10K a month? And how long do you think it would take? I'm new to this field and feeling really overwhelmed. I can't afford to join your paid school community, so I'd really appreciate any free guidance or roadmap you could share. That's more or less what we do here, no problem. What roadmap would you follow to go from $0 a month to $10,000 a month? I want you to know that essentially your bottleneck is not your ability to use AI. You can learn how to use AI to the point where somebody would be willing to pay you to work with them in like 5 hours. Not even kidding. It is literally enough just to sit down and then go through my 4-hour Claude Code course and then spend an hour just prompting Claude back and forth to build a couple of landing pages for you. At that point, you now have enough economic value that you could literally have somebody pay you potentially thousands of dollars a month for this. And so if I was starting today, this fact, which was already true when I started, 5-6 years ago, 4 years ago, like selling AI automation as a business model, this fact is so much more true now because it's even faster than back in the day when all we were doing was dragging and dropping. It is ridiculous how little technical skill you actually need to make a ton of money. And so if you want to make a ton of money, what you do is you just don't focus on the technical skill at all. You're going to learn it all, just like in the process of doing your work. Focus instead on outreach. You have a bottleneck right now. Your bottleneck is literally like at the very beginning of your funnel. You know how most of the time people draw funnels like this, right? Assuming that a lot of people see their stuff, a bunch of people book meetings, a percentage of them close, and then I don't know, percentage of people get onboarded and whatever. Like this is like their business funnel. Your business funnel right now probably looks like this, meaning you have nobody at the top. Nobody's coming in at all. So how can you possibly expect anybody to do anything later? You might have a lot of capacity to work with clients. You might have a lot of capacity to sell clients. You might have a lot of capacity to jump on meetings with clients, but you have nobody actually like looking at your shit. Basically, you're not doing any outreach. Okay. So just focus on outreach. That's the bottleneck. Jack says, Nick, thank you so much for replying. 90% of my clients have been from cold outreach. Nice. And it's all because of what I've learned from your channel. I'm super grateful and thanks for your feedback. Yeah, awesome, man. I'm really stoked to hear. Nick, as someone that seems like a logical and ethical guy, how do you handle the ethical implications of AI usage when it comes to not only the planet down the line, but specific communities being impacted by this right now? I think my biggest holdup when making money with AI has been ethical concerns and not wanting to be on the wrong side of history. I'd love to hear your take on how you deal with the guilt, if any. I have no guilt whatsoever with any of this. What is your logical and ethical concern here? The capabilities of this technology are very clear, Emily, to be honest with you. The potential upside of AI is so vast that it's hard for me to speak to even 1/1000th of it without people looking at me like I'm a lunatic. We have the potential to solve every disease throughout human history. We have the potential to make humans themselves live thousands of years. We have the potential to have AI shepherd and steward generation ships that take us across the stars. I feel that I would be guiltier if I did not help a business model that assists people in the distribution of this technology to the wider world. On a very small level, it is unethical not to try and get as many people using AI solutions as possible, because the minor seconds that everybody on Earth right now that runs businesses force consumers to spend doing things like writing down their information on a physiotherapist appointment form just to hand it to somebody for them to manually clack that into a system, or having to wait in line at the DMV, or having to wait 2 weeks for some important piece of paperwork to come by because some human being had to manually sign off on it. The even on a very small sense, it would be unethical for me not to try and get as many people to use technology like this as possible, because just by shaving that small inefficiency down, I could materially improve GDP and in doing so, wealth conditions for the world. But if you zoom out, if you look at the fact that these technologies were incapable of stringing together more than 4 comprehensible words just 6 years ago, and now they are legitimately solving some of the most advanced mathematical problems on planet Earth, there is no potential future in which the upside does not constitute whatever small acceptable downside we are currently facing right now. Like, let's say, data center noise usage, or let's say, magnet production or semiconductor production requiring us to mine various resources on Earth. The potential upside here is ridiculous. And so I have zero ethical concern about making money, helping companies use this sort of thing. And if you think about it, in my case, go one step up by making money, helping people make money by helping companies implement this sort of thing. Because at my level of leverage, I'm capable of materially actually improving world conditions. So I'd like to make some money off of this, obviously, but at the same time, consider the value here. If 1,000 people see my stuff, and if 10 of them start or maintain or improve their businesses, and if one of those works with a $1 billion company that services 1 million people every year, well, now I'm helping 1 million people every year, let's say over the next 10 years, 10 million people significantly economize their work. It is stupid value and leverage as well. Marco says, I have a good chunk of replied cold emails, but all are negative. Most of them are, please stop, never contact me again. Does that mean I'm on a good path? Just need to continue refine offer, refine icebreaker, and be consistent. Yeah, well, if you think about it, you're sort of like, this is the tier list. Getting any replies, getting positive replies, getting meetings, and then closing them. So you, my friend, are on step 1. So you can now generate replies, which is awesome if you think about it. Like, who the hell can actually go and get reply? Like, most people don't even know how to do that, right? You're right over here. But now that you've generated any reply, you've verified that both your email campaigns and stuff like that are working. And obviously you can invoke a reply from people, a bad reply, but still a reply. Your next step is just making that positive. So generally, that's just respecting people's time, I would say, making your offers a no-brainer. Okay, that's it with the Q&A. Got a little heated there with Emily's question, but I still think we answered, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just got to jump straight to the tracking here, unfortunately. But essentially what we're doing is we're doing these daily podcasts with Jack over at the Stacked podcast, which he consistently asks me to refer to as the best AI podcast on earth. Guess you guys haven't seen it. Stacked Pod. It's right over here, and it's just two douchebags in tank tops. And I built a fully automated flow that generates these thumbnails without us having to do anything. And we will just pump these puppies out literally once a day, which I'm really excited for. And we're just going to run that for a hot minute. So I think we could both probably push this to 10K in the next couple of months. I mean, that's just like 40 or 50 away. We had, I think, a 1.5% like sub ratio on this. So I think this got us another 20 something subs. And yeah, if we stop wearing freaking douchey tank tops, maybe we can get that up to a 2%. So I'm pretty excited about that. That seems like a very long-term play. People really just want to hear people talk about AI and kind of be in the room with people that make a lot of money, which is positive. My subscribers on the main YouTube channel went up by, that much, 0.21%. On my daily updates channel, we went up to 20,486. So this has also grown. My Instagram on Blast Up, which is the platform I use to track this stuff, is now saying 566,729. So we are up over 1,000. And then my X platform here says 3,479. Satya Nadella. Looks like he dropped a banger post there I'll have to read. Maker School went down by 0.18% here. So now that we've gone up over 100 members from, I guess, like 2 weeks ago-ish, I'm starting to face resistance in pushing it higher. I think I'm just like naturally starting to reach my churn again to the volume of people that I'm driving in. So we are stabilizing right around this number. Obviously, we're going to continue trying to push it further, but, getting 100 members in like 2 weeks at my pretty low content cadence is still pretty solid. And then, yeah, Maker Zero is at 10,618. And then I'm still position 3. And essentially what happened with Maker Zero is we got a lot of AI posts the other day. And so what I've been doing is I've just been brutally banning as many of these AI posts as humanly possible. And I can typically see when an AI post is made. This one looks pretty AI-y. No, it's not. Nice job, Justin. This is fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not seeing any AI posts. Basically, I go through once a day and I look for people that are writing with AI. And so it looks like this fella here is writing with AI. He's using terms like sharper, which is very unlikely, photo transformation. He probably wrote this himself, and then this is his little intro that he's just posted and pasted. So I'm actually just going to delete this. I'm just going to go, you can't do that. I have a little snippet that says, sorry, bro, no AI. Anyway. So that's going pretty well. This is obviously a lifetime ban for Hassan. Goodbye forever. And yeah, that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to be banning a lot of people. So yeah, things are going really well on that front. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I'm going to go crush a pod with Jack. Catch all y'all tomorrow.